Hi, Neal here with Piano Bench Chat for June 2024. This is Piano Bench Chat number 100. Kind of a big deal. Going all the way back to the spring of 2020, 4 years ago, when I thought these things up. It was actually a name that came from someone who was on the DPAA staff at that time. Our then development director, Jeremy Davitt. We were talking about ways to make connections with our audience in those horrible times right after COVID had shut down all our performances. And Jeremy said, you should do like fireside chats about music. And it turned into these things, the Piano Bench Chats. And the original idea was make connections with our audience when we couldn't do it through performances, and I did them all through the pandemic, pretty much like on a weekly basis. And then if you've been with us all that long, and I don't know how many of you have, but I have, I started, back when performances started coming back regularly, I kept doing them, but on a monthly basis. And I'll tell you more about what happens next now, but I want to tell you a little bit about that music that I was playing. Right now, we have one more concert left in a little more than a week. It's called Soundtrack Magic, John Williams and Friends. It's a pop show full of fabulous music written for the movies, as well as some music not written for the movies that got used by the movies, but just great pieces that we know from being used in cinema. And some of them are things that people will recognize, and some of them are things that people won't recognize, but maybe we'll send them to some great old movies that they should get to know and get to know the music. But really what I do mostly during the summer is I study for the upcoming season. You may have heard that the Dayton Performing Arts Alliance has announced my successor, who will take over when I retire, Keitaro Harada, a wonderful young Japanese conductor who's very exciting on the podium and electrified the orchestra and the audience when he guest conducted here in April. Keitaro has been announced as my successor. He will start in performances officially in the 25-26 season. So next season will be my last full season, my 30th season as conductor of the Dayton Philharmonic. But just like any summer, because I'm conducting next season, I am studying, getting ready for all the music I have to conduct next season. I have for the summer 18 scores that I need to work on between now and August. There are a lot more than 18 that I'll be performing, but those are the ones that I'm focusing on during the summer. They range from 6 minutes long, which is the new Malcolm Singer piece, London Landscapes, that I played, I think, in last month's Piano Bench Chat when I first got the score. And they go up to 2.5 hours with things like Cinderella, which I'll be conducting with Dayton Ballet next year. There'll be some movie scores, Elf, and at least possibly one other one that's a secret, so I won't talk about it right now. I won't let you in on the magical implications of what that movie could possibly be. A new production of Nutcracker, which means a little bit of Nutcracker music that I haven't conducted in a very long time will be coming back. But it's mostly just getting ready for all of the music. And that music that I played you is music from one of the pieces we'll be playing in September at the beginning of the season. That's the start of the slow movement of the second movement of Brahms's Fourth Symphony, which will be on our opening Masterwork Series concert. And Brahms, as some of you may know, is my favorite composer. So I thought on this momentous 100th Piano Bench Chat, I'd play you a little bit of Brahms. But it's more than just Brahms. If you're wondering what I'm wearing, I think I've worn this shirt before on a Piano Bench Chat. This Piano Bench Chat is music by Bach. And I also thought, good to play some Bach, because I played Bach on the very first one. And I'm not going to try to play from this, but this is the music that's on my shirt. which is the beginning of the chaconne for solo violin from the second solo violin partita that Bach wrote. A very beautiful and very famous and magical piece. A chaconne is an old musical form based on a repeated harmonic progression. The same chords are heard over and over and over again in the chaconne for, I have them written down, for 12 different variations. So you hear the same harmonies over and over again, but each time the way the harmonies are realized in the melodies is slightly different. So I started with Brahms. That's a little Bach. Now I'm going to go back to Brahms, and here's a piece that Brahms wrote for fairly late in his composing career for solo piano, and I'll play a little bit of it too. You probably recognize it. It's the same music that I played in the Bach chaconne, except it's an octave lower instead of here. It's down here. And as you see, Bach was not cheating. It says Bach, Brahms, chaconne from the partita in D minor for violin solo, for piano, left hand alone. So I was cheating by playing it this way, with both hands. Brahms intended this as a study for left hand practice on the piano, and I'll try to play a little of it. My left hand technique is not great, but this is more or less how Brahms would have wanted those opening bars of his version of the chaconne to go. Very hard for me to do. But there's more to it than that. It wasn't just Brahms creating an exercise for the left hand. Brahms was creating an exercise for himself. Because at the end of Brahms's Fourth Symphony, he writes an amazing, amazing finale to the symphony that begins like this. With 8 chords, and it is a chaconne. During the course of this amazing finale, Brahms gives us, and I always forget, so I'll have to look, it's, I believe, yes, 31 times that he goes through this harmonic progression, etc. And each time he goes through those 8 chords, those 8 harmonies, he changes the way he realizes them in the orchestra. 31 times, a series of variations in different styles, different tempos, and then a very long coda to bring the movement and the symphony to a close. So this study for left hand, from a technical standpoint for a pianist, was a compositional study for Brahms. He immersed himself in Bach's chaconne before he wrote his chaconne to close his Fourth Symphony, the piece which will close the first concert of next season of your Dayton Philharmonic. So why am I talking about Brahms? And Brahms, my favorite composer, and Bach, the composer we started the Piano Bench Chats with, here on Piano Bench Chat number 100. Well, it's because I have some news. This will be, number 100, will be the last Piano Bench Chat of the continuous sequence. I figured it was a good time to sort of put a, maybe not a period, but maybe a semicolon or an Emily Dickinson style dash on the series of Piano Bench Chats. I do need to spend the summer really focusing on the studying for next year. And I've decided now, having reached 100, that I will continue the idea of doing Piano Bench Chats from time to time. When I feel I have something really interesting to share with you, I will sit back down at the piano bench and set up my iPhone and record another one. But I'm going to get out of the routine of doing them, well, it was every week before and now every month. And because the need for it is a little bit different. We're certainly not in the mode where we were 4 years ago, desperately trying to stay connected to our audience. I hope that you will stay connected to the Dayton Philharmonic and Dayton Opera and Dayton Ballet. I know those of you who are fans of the DPAA will continue to do that. And as I said, from time to time, when I have something that I think is really interesting to talk about and something that I can play semi-decently, I will share it with you. I would like to thank people who've been watching the Piano Bench Chats, whether you started 4 years ago or just picked it up 4 months ago, or maybe this is the first one. You can go back and listen to them. They're all up there on YouTube and on Facebook as well. It's been really fun talking about music and subjecting you to my less than stellar piano playing. And thanks for people who've been following it and who've been interested in it. But mostly and especially thanks to everyone who supports the music and the art, the performing art that we create at the Dayton Performing Arts Alliance. We do this for you in the audience, and we really appreciate everything you do for us. So I will say, have a wonderful summer, enjoy it, be healthy and all that sort of stuff. And I'll see you whenever the next Piano Bench Chat is. It might come up during the summer, it might be in the fall when I'm back with Brahms and other things at the beginning of the season. But thanks for being with us, being with me and with the DPAA through these Piano Bench Chats. And we'll see you whenever the next one comes along, whenever number 101 comes out. Take care.